Alright, Mr. Cop, we're going to go ahead and try this again. Alright, so again, to go over long division and synthetic division, we're going to take a look at just long division that we learned back in elementary school. Alright, so we're going to start with the problem 1,605 divided by 13. So I know it's been a little while, but go ahead and set it up like you would in the house, right? So we put the 1,605 on the inside and the 13 on the outside. And then we start saying, okay, 13 goes into 1. It doesn't, so we don't do anything there. We move over to 6. 13 goes into 16 one time. Remember to line it up, so I put the 1 above the 6. We then multiply. 1 times 13 is 13, and we subtract. We end up with 3 here, and then we simply bring down the next number. Now we go ahead and say, alright, 13 goes into 30, how many times? 2. We multiply. 2 times 13 is 26. We subtract, we get 4. We bring down the 5, and we go ahead and say, okay, 13 times what gives me 45? Closest we're going to be able to get is 3 times 13, which is 39. We subtract, and we get 6. Now, we know we could also add zeros and keep going because these are both numbers. However, I want you to go ahead and go back to the way where you write your remainder as remainder 6, or we can write it as 123 and 6/13, so as a mixed number. Alright, so again, this is all stuff you know how to do. Now we're going to go ahead and apply these same principles to what you're working on. So you're looking at a problem similar to this one where it says m squared minus 7m minus 11 divided by m minus 8. Okay, so again, we're going to set it up the exact same way. We're going to go ahead and make the little house. M squared minus 7m minus 11 goes inside the house, right? And m minus 8 is going to go outside the house. Now we're going to go ahead and say, well, what times m will give me this m squared? So what times m gives me m squared? And the answer here is going to be m. Now notice here I put it above the 7m because they're the same degree, right? So we multiply m times m minus 8. M times m gives me m squared. M times negative 8 gives me negative 8m. Now I like to go ahead and put a comically large subtraction symbol out here so I make sure I remember that I'm subtracting. So I get here m squared minus m squared. It cancels. Negative 7m minus negative 8m, that's negative 7m plus 8m, so that's just m. And then I bring down the next term, minus 11. Now we repeat that process. What times m will give me m? Well, in this case, it's just 1, a positive 1. So I multiply 1 times m, I get m. 1 times negative 8, negative 8. And again, my comically large subtraction sign. So m minus m cancels. Negative 11 minus negative 8 is negative 3. So that's my remainder, negative 3. And if I need to, I could write my answer as being m plus 1 minus 3 over m minus 8. My divisor, right? We just go ahead and put the fraction with the denominator using the divisor. Alright? So again, not too bad. Nothing too exciting happened there. I do want to point out for you here, with the dividend, notice the degree of the terms. It's m squared, m to the first, m to the 0. Notice how it's going down. M squared, m to the first, m to the 0, or your constant term. Okay? So we're going to take a look at another example where that doesn't happen and talk about what to do. So here we're going to have 42x squared minus 33 divided by 7x plus 7. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and make our little house. All right? We're going to put 7x plus 7 on the outside, but when we go ahead and write the dividend in here, we have to make sure we don't miss any terms. Same thing's true out here, but just rarely comes up. So here I'll go 42x squared, and then I go down a degree. How many x's do I have here? Well, I have 0x, so I'll put plus 0x. And then finally my constant term, minus 33. Okay? So this is how we set up our problem. Now we're going to go ahead and follow that same process we did last time. What times 7x gives me 42x squared? Well, 6x. Again, notice I put it above the other linear term, right? So 6x times 7x is 42x squared. 6x times 7 is 42x. I'm going to, again, subtract these. Comically large subtraction signs, so you don't forget. 42x squared minus 42x squared cancels, and I get 0x minus 42x, which is negative 42x. Bring down your next term. And again, what times 7x gives me negative 42x? In this case, it's negative 6. Negative 6 times 7x is negative 42x. Negative 6 times 7 is negative 42. Again, subtract. Negative 42x minus negative 42x cancels. Negative 33 minus negative 42 is going to go ahead and be positive 9. So I get a remainder of 9, or I can write that as 6x minus 6 plus 9 over 7x plus 7. Okay? So again, hopefully not too bad. Now, where I imagine you're headed with this is to take a look at what is called synthetic division, or synthetic substitution. Okay? When we look at these two problems here, this one sets up nicely for synthetic division, and it's because the divisor is linear with a lead coefficient of 1. So the number hiding in front of m there is 1, the exponent on m there is 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at this same problem, but this time we're going to go ahead and do synthetic division with it. Okay? So here, we're right back, same problem, m squared minus 7m minus 11 divided by m minus 8. Okay? Now, synthetic division is going to go ahead and set up with something that looks like this, right? We're going to have a box, we're going to have a line, and we're going to have another box. Okay? To fill this first box up here, we go ahead and say, what makes this equal 0? What number can I plug in for m that when I subtract 8, I get 0? That's going to be positive 8. So I put a positive 8 right there. All right? Now I'm going to go ahead and copy my coefficients down. When you copy your coefficients from your dividend, you have to do the same thing we did before, where you make sure you don't miss any terms. Right? So here we have quadratic, linear, constant. Right? Degree 2, degree 1, degree 0. So I'm going to go ahead, the coefficient of m squared is 1. The coefficient of m is negative 7. And the constant term is negative 11. Okay. Now this first number you always bring down immediately. So you just bring the 1 down. Now I'm going to go ahead and multiply it times the number in the box. 1 times 8 is 8. Now I'm going to add these two. Negative 7 plus 8 is going to be positive 1. Now I multiply by the box again. 1 times 8 is 8. Now I add these two. Negative 11 plus 8 is negative 3. Now, because this was quadratic, or degree 2, I'm going to go ahead and lower the degree, and this becomes degree 1. So if this is m squared, this will start with m. This becomes my constant term, and this becomes my remainder. You'll notice that's the same answer we got before, where it's just m squared plus 1, remainder negative 3. Right? So exact same answer we got before. And again, we can write it this way, where it's m plus 1 minus 3 over the divisor, which is m minus 8. Okay? Let's take a one more example like that. We'll go ahead and do one with a missing term, just so we know how to handle it. So again, we've got x squared minus 74, and we're going to divide that by x minus 8. Okay? Again, this works well when the number in front of x here is 1 and the exponent on x here is 1. If not, you want to go back to long division. It's not to say that you can't do this method if there's another number here in front of x. It's just not as easy. Alright? So here I'm going to go ahead and set up my box. Right? What makes x minus 8 equal 0? Positive 8 again. Just a coincidence. Right? Now I'm going to go ahead and do my coefficients. The coefficient of x squared, there is 1 x squared. The coefficient of x, there is 0 x. The constant term, negative 74. Right? I draw my next line. And I create the box there at the end. So again here, immediately the first number comes down. This is 1. I multiply it by the box. 1 times 8 is 8. I add these together. 0 plus 8 is 8. I multiply it by the box. 8 times 8 is 64. Negative 74 plus 64 is negative 10. This was degree 2, so this will be degree 1. I get 1x plus 8, remainder negative 10. Or I can write that, of course, as x plus 8 minus 10 over x minus 8. Okay. Hopefully that clarifies what's going on in class. Hopefully this is where you're headed next, so I'm getting you ahead. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be happy to help you. But you might be better off finding a resource closer to campus just because they're going to be able to help you quicker. All right. Like I said, don't hesitate if you need anything. Good luck.